Instant match reaction for Liverpool losing 3-2 at Brentford. And the only thing that is on my mind tonight is the referee. Yet again, the referee has cost us that game. And I don't care how you want to dress it up. Listen, rival fans will have a pop. That's absolutely fine. We'd laugh if that penalty was given against United, wouldn't we? That's what we do. It's rivalry, it's football, I get it. But there's not a one person, we was doing the watch along tonight, there's not a one person in the chat who wanted that penalty given for their side. There's not one of them would want it given. That is an absolutely laughable decision from the replacement referee. Simon Hooper was bad enough in the first half. I thought we should have had a penalty in the first half. Even if you disagree with that, we were still in the game, right? It was 2-1 at half time. And we were still in the game. Brentford scored a very, very good goal. Let's take it bit by bit, right? Brentford scored a very good opening goal. I don't think there's anything that we could do to defend against that. I genuinely believe that goal is indefensible. I have no problem with it. It's a long, flat throw-in, Rory Delap style. It's a wonderful long throw. They win the first header, which if you're hypercritical, you say, well, how's he won that? We've got to be letting... No, that's a really, really good goal. They've strategically done it. It's a long throw in. It's a great flick on from Nathan Collins, and Ouattara's there with a wonderful finish, acrobatic, and he gets it in. I don't think there's anything you can do to defend against that. That's just a really, really good goal, right? So Brentford go in front, no complaints really. We then play really, really well. I think we have a couple of half chances, maybe. Not anything fantastic. We weren't incisive in creating loads, but we had some chances. We were cutting them apart a little bit. Brentford weren't really worrying us. And then Gakpo gets into the box. I feel like he's nicked. I feel like he goes down correctly. He gets fouled. The referee should be bringing that back for a penalty. He doesn't. And they on the counter-attack, they hit us, and Sharda scores. No problem with the goal. It's a great ball. I think it's Henderson who puts the ball through. Great long pass. Very similar to the Ekatike one against Frankfurt in midweek in many ways. It's a great ball. Splits us apart. Liverpool are a goal down, so inevitably we've got to push more bodies forward. That's going to leave us vulnerable on the counter, and Brentford did us, right? Again, I'm not overly concerned about that. Like, not every goal is... You don't have to do a big analysis on it and say, that's shocking. Some goals you just concede and you're like, well, yeah, fair enough. The first one, I think, falls in that category. I think you could probably say the Chelsea one, the Caicedo one not that long ago, was the same. To be honest, I think the United Maguire winner was probably the same. There's not an awful lot you can do about those sorts of goals. They're just really, really good goals. And we concede them, and it's frustrating, of course, but it put us in a position where we needed to get back into it. And we did. We stayed in the game. We didn't lose our heads. We got a great goal back from Kirkes, 2-1, going into half-time. And we come out second half and we're pushing forward to try and get that equaliser. And then the referee makes an absolutely laughable decision. Let's call it for what it is. It's a fucking laughable decision. There's nobody in football. I've yet to speak to a fan tonight on the watch along. We've spoke to Sunderland fans, Liverpool fans, United, City, Arsenal, Everton fans coming in and telling me that's not a penalty. Everton fans. There's nobody who thinks that's a penalty. It's not a foul anywhere else on the pitch. People were like, "Oh, was it inside or was it outside?" Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it was inside or outside. It's irrelevant whether it was inside or outside. It wasn't a foul. It wasn't a free kick, let alone a penalty. That doesn't get given in the corner. Doesn't get given at the corner flag. Doesn't get given on the halfway line. And somehow we're making decisions that change the game of football on that. It's absolutely outrageous. And it's changed the game. And ultimately, we've gone from us being in the ascendancy and us, pushing forward, dominating play to, well, they get a penalty and then we're 3-1 down. And we still, very annoyingly, we still somehow nearly get a point out of the game. Ball comes in, Mo Salah, what a touch, what a finish. On a different night, if that goes in and we get a point out of the game or we get a winner, if that's a winner, whatever, you're looking back at that goal and thinking, possible goal of the season contender. Unbelievable finish from Mo Salah. It wasn't his best night again tonight. It was not his best night again. We'll talk about that later on the player ratings video and everything. Wasn't his best night, but what a finish. We've given him a lot of stick over the last couple of weeks. I called for him to be dropped against Frankfurt. I'm glad that he was. He came back in tonight. Don't think he was brilliant. Not many of the first team were, to be honest. Not many of that first 11 were. But he scores, and it's a great goal, and it gets us back into it. And then for the last 7 minutes that gets given, and we play about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes with the ball in play of that 7 minutes. Brentford dropping to the deck and slowing it down and taking more long throw-ins and corners and wasting time. And I understand why they do that. That's part and parcel of football. Doesn't mean it's any less frustrating, but I understand it. The ref's got to do more to combat that, I think. But anyway, we don't manage to get the third to equalise. And if we had, I would have been immensely proud of that team. And listen, I'm not talking about the performance it being fantastic, because it wasn't. It wasn't brilliant. It wasn't a great performance. But if we'd have got back to 3-3 after having the penalty given to us and us being 3-1 down, that must have been... I can't imagine how utterly demoralising it must be to come out the traps in the second half. You're 2-1 down. You know, it's not a great performance, but you're still fighting. It's a tough place to go anyway, Brentford. We know it's a difficult ground. We go there, 2-1 down, second half, and the referee gives that. That must absolutely just suck the life out of you. And yet we go again. We find a bit of energy. We go again. Salah pulls something out of nothing to make it 3-2. But the game was pretty much done and dusted by that point, sadly. And I have to blame the biggest part of that on the referee. In my opinion, the referee has killed us tonight. He's absolutely killed us. He's killed any notion of a game in the 60th minute. That's what I think's happened tonight. So, am I disappointed with the performance? Yes. But I think at 2-1 the game's still there to be won. So I'm not sitting here and saying anything about, well, you know, the players need chastising and whatever. I don't think Slot could do an awful lot differently in that game. I don't think the players could have done an awful lot differently in that game. I think physically we stood up to them an awful lot. We defended an awful lot of those long throws into the box. Brentford played really well. I've got to give Brentford credit as well, by the way. People have said, why aren't you giving Brentford credit? No, I said that in the live. I'll say it again now in the match reaction. Brentford played really, really well. So I'm not knocking Brentford, by the way. Brentford played well. Full value for a point, I would say at least. However, I think if you're a Brentford fan, you're looking at that penalty decision and going, I wouldn't like to see that given at the other end. So, frustrating night. It feels like Liverpool are having one of those spells where everything is going against us. And you can overanalyse in times like this. You can overanalyse and you can think about, oh yeah, well this is going wrong and this is going wrong and he's shit and he's shit. People were calling for Chiesa and Rio Engamoa to come on weeks and weeks ago. They came on tonight, didn't do anything. So, like, it's not... I'm not having a pop at them either, by the way. But, like, the manager can only do so much. The players collectively as a team can only do so much. And sometimes you do just have to accept that actually we're in a really, really bad... We've had a bad run of luck. We have had a bad run of luck. Chelsea pinging... Can I say, though, pinging goals in the top corner like that? Manchester United turning up once in a blue moon. We shouldn't have had that one given against us. The Mbermo goal. Maguire scores that one last minute. You know, Crystal Palace, fine, no problem. Galatasaray, that penalty should never be given. This one should never, ever be given. We're just having a really, really bad run of it at the minute. And this is where I think we need to come together, stick behind the team. I'm not seeing bad performances here. I've seen, in the run that we've been on, I've seen one bad performance. I don't know if you agree. Maybe I'm being foolish, right? If I am, let me know in the comments, right? But I don't see bad performances here from Liverpool. I see really, really bad luck. And bad refereeing decisions that have cost us. So, I'm not focusing too heavily on the players. I'm not having a pop too much at Slot or the player. I don't think that's an issue for us. I still think we can comfortably make top four and still comfortably be a part of this title conversation. But right now, we're having some issues. And that was always to be expected with a large bunch of new players, and obviously the tragedy that happened over the summer. It's a lot of change. But yes, tonight feels like a kick in the dick. It's been a bad night. Don't really know what else more to say I can say right now, other than add that we have to go again midweek against Crystal Palace in the Cup, which is not going to be an easy game. But we're going to rotate for that one, I imagine. We're going to take some players out the side, take some players out the firing line. And it's going to be a good game, that one at Anfield in midweek. I'm going to be live for that one as well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully there's some better results tomorrow, because as it stands, United won. Arsenal might win tomorrow. City probably win tomorrow. Fucking Everton might win tomorrow. Oh, what a shit weekend. Enjoy yours. Hopefully it's better than mine. Take it easy.